Hey, what's up, you guys? So me and Penny chilling in the car. Penny, hey, what? You don't want to talk about car audio? Penny, over here, over here. Oh, this dog right here. Oh, there you go. Hi, say hi to the people. Hey, what's up, you guys? So I want to talk about car audio mistakes. My mistakes. I know you guys probably made the same mistakes, but these are mine, man. God, dog. And these mistakes I'm talking about are the top 5 that I wish I never sold. All right, man. So we're just gonna go ahead and get to it because I'm just disgusted even coming up with this list, thinking about my history in car audio, all the good amps I've ever had, and oftentimes I'm usually selling an amplifier to fund the purchase of the newer, next, better amplifier. I don't like to collect amplifiers and audio equipment because it's just the way I'm wired, man. Something in my brain, like, honestly, I don't even like having two cars. I remember at one point I was lucky enough to have two cars, and I was going crazy every other day, like which car to drive, which one should I drive? Should I drive this one? Oh, I need to drive this one more, So if I had multiple amplifiers, multiple variations of speakers, should I put these in my car? Should I try this amp? So for me, it's best to just get rid of it and move on to the next one. That's just the way I'm wired. So in that, therein lies the mistakes, because some of these amplifiers I really, 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 really wish I had. I really wish I kept. I would love to use them today. Subs too. I'll save that for, and speakers. I'll save that for another video. But for right now, the top 5 amps that I wish I never sold. And for me, these are my top 5. I mean, you guys might like these amplifiers and put them in different order, but for my experience when I had them, okay, enough talking about the memories of them. Let's get to them. Number 5. Number 5 for me was my concept amplifiers. I didn't have them very long, but I was using them at the end of my DB drag run. I don't even remember the model number, man. It was a concept amplifier. You can see the picture there. That was like the only picture I could find that was halfway decent, and I doctored it up in Photoshop to make it presentable to y'all. But that concept amp that I had was actually slightly modified. I think it may have been rated for 800 watts RMS, but I was getting 1100 watts out of mine. Cheater amps, don't tell anybody. We were using cheater amps in DB drag, so it was just part of it. Everybody had cheater amps in the game. And my 4 concept amps, as you see in this old DB drag picture of mine, it was 1100 watts per coil on those dual voice coil 15-inch strokers. So 2200 watts RMS per stroker. For back in the day, that was a lot of power, man. It got loud. I think I ended my DB drag run with like a 156 or 158 point something, somewhere around there. You can look me up on Term Pro under my name. You'll find it. I'm not lying about it. It was either 156.8 or 158.2. I don't know. Anyway, it was loud, and they got me, bunch of trophies, regional trophies, shattered my back window a couple of times. It was all in the game, but those amplifiers were sweet. They never let me down. But again, when I moved on from DB Drag, I sold the amplifiers. I sold my strokers. Ah, man. Somebody call a therapist for me, man. Well, you guys are my therapist, sold my strokers, man. I'm still sick to this day. That was 20 years ago, easily. But anyway, okay, enough about that. Those amplifiers were sweet. They served me well, got me a lot of trophies, regional championship. I was moving those strokers to their limit. I even smoked a couple of them, but again, don't tell anybody. But yeah, man, that concept amplifier, I don't even know. Concept 1100, I don't know. Maybe you guys know better than me, but again, they were modified, so whatever specs you find online are not going to match the specs of the concept amps that I did have. So anyway, moving on past those concepts. Oh man, let me rest my arm. Hold on. Okay. Moving on past those concept amps is my PPI. I think it was the PC 2300 or PC 2100 or even PC 2200. It was one of those series. It was for mids and highs. It was a 2-channel amplifier. And at the time, I believe I believe when I was using my Diamond Audio mids and highs, I know we're talking about amplifiers, but I just want to tell you guys how I was using it. When I had my Diamond Audio Hex set, which was the best sounding speakers I ever heard prior to me getting my Morel set, when I was using my Diamond Audio Hex set, I bought it as a 2-way, but then made it into a 3-way by adding a 4-inch driver. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe I was using the PPI PC either 2100, 2200, or 2300 on the mid bass, and then another 4-channel I was using on the mids and highs because I was running it active. But anyway, that PPI, you know, back in the day, we're talking late 90s, early 2000s, PPI was the amplifiers to have. And I was lucky enough to have it, and it was absolutely clean. It did everything I needed to do and more. Never let me down. But again, I sold it to fund other amplifiers. I don't even know what I sold it to get. I may have sold it to trade, or traded for a old Orion 225 HCCA cheater amp. I had that for a brief moment and then end up selling that too. You know, we shuffle amps, man. That's part of the game. That's part of it. We shuffle amplifiers, but I wish I would have held on to that PPI amp. It was sweet, man. You know, it was legendary at that time. It was infallible. It was bulletproof. It was the amp to have. And at least I can say that I actually had it. So I'm happy about that. But what I'm not so happy about is my number 3 amplifier. Ah, man. This was my first real bass amplifier. This was my first amplifier that was it my first? No, maybe my first amplifier that I used for dB drag when I very first started competing in, I want to say 1994, 1995, something like that. It was the MTX Thunder 2160. That might have been my first real bass amplifier, and I won my first dB drag trophy with that. Yeah, it wasn't a lot of power. 320 watts RMS, bridged at 4 ohms, maybe 360, give or take, because you know they're always underrated. But that amplifier was built heavy, built solid, and I could be mistaken. Hopefully you guys know better than me, can correct me, but I think this series of MTX amplifiers was built by Rockford Fosgate. That's when MTX went from just regular commercial street banger type gear to next level, you know, and I think it's because the engineers at Fosgate helped them out, because they just went from regular amplifiers to powerful beasts, man. They were super strong. And again, you know, my first dB drag amp, my first dB drag trophy competition, and I actually won. I think I may have taken 3rd place, give or take. I don't know, but I won regardless. I came home with a trophy, so that felt good. But yeah, man, the MTX Thunder 2160, that amplifier was sweet. And I don't even know when I sold it or what I sold it for, but I clearly sold it. And I wish I didn't. But anyway, now we're getting to my top 2 amplifiers. The number 2 amplifier is not a high-end amplifier per se, but the reason why I regret selling it is because you can't find it anywhere right now, and that is the Zapco ST2X SQ. As you guys know, I have different tiers of Zapco amplifiers in my current build. I have a 2nd tier, 3rd tier, and maybe even 4th tier. My 4th tier amplifier is what I'm running on my tweeters, which is the Zapco ST2B. And I sold it to fund another amp. I forget which one, but I wish I would have kept it, because that would have helped my system look, just looks, you know, it wasn't no sound difference in between the two. I'll go back to that in just a second, but it would help my system look better as far as my system design layout, you know, having a Zapco ST2X on my tweeters, and then the ST4X, which is currently on my mids, and then the LX is on my mid bass. But anyway, it would look sweeter to have matching amplifiers. You know, that's why I regret selling it, but I think it was better built than the ST2B. But what I was saying a second ago is, as far as sound wise goes, so I have the ST4X SQ on my mids, and before I bridged them on my mids, I was running them 4-channel on my mids and tweeters. I bridged it just to put on my mids for more power, more detail, more control. And I bought the ST2B to put on my tweeters. But before I did that, I did a sound test listening to my tweeters on my ST4X, and then I took the ST4X off there and put the ST2B on my tweeters, and then did a listening test. And I recorded it and I sat and listened back and forth over and over again, and I could not hear a sonic difference. No sonic difference, no power difference, because they're rated for the exact same power, which is 65 by 2. Same specs across the board, but the ST2B and the ST2X have no difference in sound, but I just like the aesthetics of it, and I wish I would have kept it because, again, I cannot find it anywhere to have a matching amp. Sound, yeah, this is the same, but looks, even though everything I have is stealth, you guys only see my system, my tweeters, and my system design layouts, but otherwise, it was just for me, to make me feel good inside this big head of mine. But anyway, the last amplifier, you guys that have been following my channel, you guys have heard me mention this amplifier before, and I'm so mad that I let this amplifier go. I'm so mad. Still to this day, man, so mad. Now, you guys all know that I'm running Zapco throughout my car. I love my Zapco. I have zero complaints whatsoever. I have zero interest in changing. I am extremely 100% happy with what I have. But if I wasn't running Zapco, I would be running high-end Audison amplifiers. And for me, at the time, back in the day, along with that PPI that I was just mentioning earlier, number 4, that was the PPI 21 or 22 or 2350 or 2300 rather, the PC amp, I was running the Audison LRX4. That was the absolute cleanest amplifier I've ever owned. To this day, I don't know. Maybe. It could be. It's a top contender for sure. It runs up top with these Zapcos. That's definitely for sure. It could be on par. It could be on par with the Zapcos, but still, the nostalgia of it. That Audison LRX4 was the cleanest amp I ever had, and at the time, I was running it on the cleanest speakers I have ever heard, which was my Diamond Audio Hex series, which I made into a 3-way. The PPI PC series was on the mid-bass, I think. And the LRX4 was on the 4-inch mid-range and the tweeters of that hex set, that 3-way hex set. And it was sweet, man. Sweet, so clean. I forget which amplifier I was running before that to replace it, where I could notice how much cleaner it was. But either way, whatever I was running, it might have been a Pioneer amp. One of just the generic Pioneers, maybe. And of course, yeah, going from generic Pioneer to Audison, you're going to hear a significant difference. But either way, man, when I went to other shows and heard other cars compared to mine, I know tuning is a key factor as well, but still, you want a clean power source. You want clean output, right? That Audison LRX4 was sweet, man, sweet, especially on those diamonds. Matter of fact, my whole car club, we had Diamond Audio speakers, and we had a mixture of kicker amps, PPI amps, Audison amps, and my boy used to call them precious metals. Diamond Audio, precious metals, get it? Yeah, Diamond Audios. And when I had that Audison on my precious metals, man, it sounded magical. And I'm so mad that I let it go, but I let it go to fund another amp. I don't even know which one it funded. I don't know, but I let it go, and I'm like, man, as soon as I let it go and got that other amp, it was a popular brand amp, and I was just chasing name brands at the time. But when I switched it, I knew immediately, like, man, this amp is cool, but damn, I want my Audison back. But it was too late, because the dude I sold it to didn't know what he was doing, and he didn't know what he was doing, and he cooked it. And I'm like, damn it, man. But he had a lot of money, more money than me at the time, and he bought another one, and then he cooked it again. I'm like, you bastard. But yeah, man, Audison LRX4, that was my top amp that I wish I never sold. If I still had it today, I'd be running it right now, but clearly I don't. But anyway, just a quick rundown. Number 5 was the concept amp that I was using, my modified concept amp that I was using for my strokers in my DB drag days. Number 4 was the PPI PC series, 21, 22, or 23, I forget which one. Clean amplifier, running it with my Diamond Audios, loved it, miss it. Number 3, my MTX Thunder 2160, and I bought into the slogan Thunder, and my subs are sounding thunderous, and I won my first DB drag trophy off it. So yeah, the Thunder came down and got me my 3rd place, maybe. I think 2nd or 3rd place. And number 2, my Zapco ST2X SQ. Doesn't sound any different than my ST2B, but for aesthetics, I wish I still had it. And lastly, the Audison LRX4, man. Man, maybe I'll go back to Audison one day. I don't know, but the Audison that I would get are those, what are they? The Thesis. And I do not have Audison Thesis money. Not right now, at least. But if you guys care to donate to give me a thesis, I'll do it. But if not, I'm sticking with my Zapcos. But until next time, you guys, please, hey, comment on which amplifiers you sold, that you hate, that you sold, that you miss so much. Let me know, man. Let's talk about it. I know I can't be the only one who made the mistake of selling quality amplifiers for other amplifiers. Some good, some moves were good, some not so much. But still, I made the mistake, and I wish I could take it back. But here we are.